It is full body workout day 2. It's a good way to bookend the week. We got our full body in, we did our isolation exercises, and now we're going to do one more full body to cap everything off. One of the great tips that you can learn about working out is that the bodybuilder split is great. It's a great way to build muscle. It's a fun way to work out. Chest day, arm, back day, all of that stuff is great. But if you really want to notice faster changes and your muscle growth and your muscle density and the way that you're leaning out, the more often you can hit your muscle groups in a week, the better. That doesn't mean do chest day twice a week, but full body at least once or twice a week, in addition to whatever focus sessions you're doing, is going to be great. So today we're going to be focusing on, again, full body, and we're going to start off with the deadlift. By now, hopefully you know how the proper way to do a deadlift. So I'm going to make this short, and I'm only going to add one tip to the deadlift that I think everybody needs to focus on, because it is a posterior chain exercise. So you want to make sure your whole back and everything is getting involved in this, not just the hamstrings. So what I see too often when I see people doing deadlifts is that when you're coming from the floor, right, and you're down in this loaded up position, I see people doing this, right? They shoot their hips up and they round their back. That's a recipe for disaster. It doesn't matter if you're going heavy, you're going light, it's a recipe for disaster. It is just putting pressure on your lower back. It's not really doing much for the hamstrings. It's exerting way more effort than you actually need to be putting into. So you want to make sure that you're doing this one thing first. Get down into your barbell position, and the first move, you should know that your barbell comes off the ground. The weights come off. All right? So if I'm down here in this position, the first move I make is a tiny move with my back to bring the weight up off the ground, and I'm up. Notice that as I do that, I'm not standing up. I'm simply using that thoracic area of my back. Engage the lats, pull through the thoracic, and stand. Okay? That's what I want you to do. Lock down the lats, pull a tiny bit with the thoracic, and then you'll stand up. So think of it as like folding down and unfolding back up, pressing through the ground and exploding up. That is going to give you so much more power through your deadlifts. You'll be able to lift more with more control, plus you're strengthening the posterior chain. Again, deadlifts, while the primary muscle that's moving is a hamstring exercise, it is an entire posterior chain exercise. We're continuing to build up the back. This is going to be a great way to do it. All right, next exercise coming up. Next up, we're doing walking lunges. So I'm going to start by walking away, then I'll turn around and walk it back. Walking lunges, if you're holding the dumbbells, you're going to hold it down. If you're feeling crazy, you can hold a barbell up top. Here's a great tip for walking lunges. We try to go in this straight line, which is great. But we are always in straight lines. So let's try a little additional lateral type of work as we're doing this, okay? So instead of going straight forward with a lunge, I'm going to step out to the side, moving the hip out, and then moving out again. So it's going to look a little bit like that. So if we're walking in, step off to the side, step off to the side, step off to the side, right? This allows me to get more hip and more glute into the workout. It also adds to the mobility of the hip, the IT band, the glutes. All those things are really, really good. So use that tip going forward on your walking lunge, side to side. Next on the menu is the incline bench press. The incline bench press is a great way to start building up that upper chest. All right, it will help you just have, again, that postural look, right? Standing up, feeling good, right? This is a great way to build the upper chest so that you get that more full chest looking look. Very much an aesthetic exercise. If we're going for strength, we're going for power, I would not be recommending this, but this is an aesthetic style workout. The incline bench press is going to be your best friend. The bench press is great. We'll build overall strength, and we want to keep that strength up, even though we're doing aesthetics. But this is going to give you the good look that you're hoping for with the chest. So I'm in like a 45-degree angle here. Maybe, and you could go as, you know, down a little bit farther to maybe like, whatever that is, 60 degrees or something. I'm a personal trainer, not a math major. In any case, you're building, you want to be in a position where your hands, you're bringing the bar down, but you don't necessarily need to touch your bar, but you want to make sure that you're at an incline so that when you're lifting, the front delts are getting worked as well as the upper chest. When you take your grip, you'll take your grip the same way that you would a bench press. In this case, because we are using more shoulders, you could go a little bit more narrow to get a little bit less, to get a little bit more shoulder in. I would not recommend going out wider, especially if it's an exercise that you're not used to, as this can put a lot of strain on the labrum, the bicep tendon, things like that. So the more narrow you can go while still hitting the chest, the better. So I'm going to go like in between my chest and shoulder grip. And as I'm bringing this up, what I want to do is follow the bar path so that it comes down to right about my chin. And then I'm pressing up. If you have the mobility to go all the way down to your chest, that's great, but you don't have to do that. Bringing it down, squeezing the shoulders back, and pressing up. You should absolutely be trying to squeeze the upper chest, thinking about that, getting the back moving just like you would if you were doing a bench press. Just because the angle changes doesn't mean the movement changes. It just simply will isolate more on the upper chest. You can go heavy on this if you want to. I recommend going a little bit on the lighter side, keeping it in that, 10 to 12 rep range. This is a great way to build muscle in the upper chest. We want to go on that hypertrophy range. So, no ego lifting on the incline bench press. All right, on to the next one. Next up, we're going to be doing a T-bar row. T-bar row is using a barbell in a landmine. That's how we're doing it here. You may see some machines at a commercial gym that have that where you're leaning on a pad. I like doing it this way because, again, we're going into that more muscles and recruitment. Whenever you're leaning against anything, you're taking away some of the extra, the stability muscles. And that's fine, especially if you're going for isolation. Bodybuilders, it's a great way to go for it. But we're building aesthetics through strength. So we want to do this T-bar style, okay? And we're going to get into like a bent over row position. I like using an underhand grip for these. You can use an overhand grip. You can even use a neutral grip if you have that capability on your barbell, your T-bar row bar. But I'm using standard, going out neutral, I shouldn't say neutral, but shoulder width apart grip. And then I'm going to be going down, picking it up. I'm not quite as bent over as I would be for a bent over row. I'm up a little bit higher. Shoulders are back, and it's not a big move, right? There's not a lot of pull here. The weight gets in the way, etc. But it really helps build that back area. So you want to make sure, we're walking away, as you're rowing, you're pulling those shoulders back. It's more shoulders than it is arm, and you're going to feel this right in the middle of your back. That's where you should be feeling it, more so in that V area, so maybe the lower trap area, as well as the scapula, and obviously the lats are getting involved. But it's a great way to build that middle of your back. Again, great way to build posture. Better posture equals better movement equals better aesthetics. All right, a couple more to go. All right, we're going to do one of my all-time favorite exercises, the Arnold press, named after Arnold Schwarzenegger. But we're going to do this standing. You can also do this seated, but we're going to do this standing again, incorporating more muscle into this to really get the full body involved in the workouts. So what we're going to do here is we start up in this position, like we're finishing up a curl. Palms are facing our body. And instead of just pressing up, we're going to open up and swing the shoulders out to the side. Then we're going to press up overhead, back down and in. So out and up. And the more fluid you can make this movement, the more shoulder you get incorporated into this. And this is a great way to build up your rotator cuffs on both the front and the back, as well as build up the trap area, the scap area, and things like that. This is a great exercise. I love this exercise. And the fact that we're doing it while we're standing means that core is more engaged, and as I reach up, I really can feel the abs keeping me stable through this whole exercise. This is not an ego lift exercise. This is one that's built for making the shoulders stronger through the entire joint, so you can lift as heavy as the stabilizer joints, so your rotator cuffs and all of that will allow you to. Knock the ego off at this particular lift. You'll thank me for it later. All right, a couple more exercises to go. All right, now we're doing farmer's carries. Another great exercise to build full body strength. This is really going to help stabilize the core, stabilize the shoulders, balance off the hips, and really help strengthen your lower back. So with a farmer's carry, what I want you to remember is that it's all about the stability of your body. You want to be able to brace through your core. Now, bracing through your core means taking a breath in and engaging the core so that the muscles engage on the sides. So if I'm pressing out on the sides, I can feel that here in the obliques, but I can still breathe. It gives my room for my chest to breathe. If I'm squeezing through the abs, the muscles here are contracting my ability to breathe, right? It really restricts the diaphragm. But if I breathe in and I press out to the sides, I have much more room to breathe and talk and everything like that. Plus, it gets all these muscles in here, which is a great way to build that stability through the deep core. This isn't a core exercise where you're going to feel it on the surface like you would for like crunches or something like that. This is more of an exercise where you're going to feel deeper in, and it's going to build the stability up for your core over the long haul. To make sure that you are in the right position, I recommend take that deep breath, stabilize it, and as you walk, your goal is to go nice and slow and steady. You are not trying to win a race here. You're trying to make sure that you are stable through the core. Wobbling, leaning forward, shrugging, all of that is not what you want to do. You want to make sure that you're stable. That's your farmer's carry. You got this. All right, last up. No aesthetic workout would be complete without doing some ab work. We are going to be doing decline sit-ups, but we're doing them with a weight. So grab a weight that you feel comfortable being able to do the recommended reps. And all we're going to do here is make sure that as you're doing these, you can rest the weight against your chest if you want to, but that's going to make it difficult to do a full sit-up. All right, here. All right, and what you want to do when you're sitting up is pull the chest up first and then curl into the abs. Curl into the abs to really squeeze them, and then kind of reverse that process on the way down. Curl and curl. Not doing much with the weight, it's just being stable in my hands. But I'm not using my hips to pull myself up. I'm not sitting up straight. I'm curling all the way forward to get all the way into the abs. That's your decline sit-ups. That is full body aesthetic day 2. All right, get after it. All right, remember, hit the body as often as you can, as many body parts as you can throughout the week. Full body workouts are the best way to go about doing that. Add some isolation, some focus sessions in there, and you will build yourself a strong body as we're building those aesthetics. Have a good one.